Namaste and welcome to this week's Dharma Talk. As I described previously, this week I wanted to come in and talk about the commercialization of Mother's Day. Interestingly, and perhaps not so unexpected, I happened to listen to the podcast Cautionary Tales, and I'll drop the details in the comments after this broadcast with a link to the episode, as I might not have gotten the podcast exactly correctly, so I'm sorry for that. The podcast was all about the dark side and the dark money surrounding Mother's Day. And I really appreciated the history the podcaster gave in this podcast. And just a brief history, the podcast gets into much more detail, and I don't want to spend our time together rehashing all the details in that podcast. But in summary, this holiday was founded by a woman with the last name of Jarvis. And her original intent was for this event or this day to acknowledge the accomplishments of her late mother. So originally it was designed to be sort of a memorial to this woman who did a lot of philanthropic work on building up women and supporting women. And this was back in the late 1800s, early 1900s when Ms. Jarvis first created this day to celebrate her mother. And as the story goes, originally the intent by Ms. Jarvis was to deliver a carnation to honor a mother. And as we all know now, the florists have taken this holiday and run with it, except for the fact that this has been happening pretty much from the beginning. So I encourage you to go and listen to that podcast for more details. And I'm going to turn the discussion into my thoughts on the commercialization of Mother's Day and what a yogic perspective would take, and how a yogic perspective would view this holiday, a celebration of mothers. So to start, I'm Dawn. I'm a yoga instructor. I also practice yoga. And I focus on empowering busy professional business women who are feeling overwhelmed, frazzled, and burnt out to use yoga tools to easily and quickly incorporate the yoga into their daily lives, and to use those tools to move themselves towards center and calm. My focus is on quick tips and to let you all know that you don't have to spend an hour in a yoga studio to get the benefits of yoga. All you need is 1 minute. So coming back to the subject of commercialization, and specifically with Mother's Day. And for me, I laugh because there's quite a bit of frustration and stress for me that comes with the Mother's Day holiday, specifically growing up. The expectation that we were to do everything and anything to make mom happy. And that's probably why part of the reason I don't like this holiday. Yes, my ego wants my family to recognize me. I want the gift, the flowers, the special dinner, etc., etc. Yet in reality, aren't we supposed to, or isn't honoring your mother and father, if you follow a Judeo-Christian lifestyle, aren't you supposed to be doing that every day? So I almost resent the fact that there is only this one public proclamation of Mother's Day, and do wonder if, because of the commercialization and this big business that came out of this decision to recognize a deceased mom, was a way to counteract some of the feelings at the time that women weren't being appreciated. Remember, in the early 1900s, there was a lot of activity with Sojourner Truth and Katie Stanton. I can't remember her first name. The suffragettes, the women's rights movements back. I mean, this is the turn of the century that women were out there campaigning and trying to change society's perception of the role of women, and to help society understand that women really do a lot, and that we are people, humans, and should also have the same rights and privileges as the men. And remember, we're in the time when white people pretty much controlled everything. I'm trying not to poke around the bush here. And as time has gone on, and certainly through the 60s and the 70s, it did become really important for women to have this day, public day, where there was a focus and attention on what they do. And while all of this is so important, it's also important to understand that really, in the grand scheme of things for women really haven't changed. We're still underappreciated in most circles of the work we do domestically. We're also underappreciated if we are deciding to be homesteaders with or without children. Particularly more challenging for women or women identifying who have chosen not to have children. And to me, it seems hypocritical to have this one day of celebration when, in truth, we should be celebrating each other every day and breaking away from the historical patterns of beating each other up and nail biting and really criticizing the choices that each person has made. We don't know why someone has made a choice they've made, and to judge them is almost a way to diminish their experience. And what does that accomplish? It actually divides us and makes it more difficult for us to create the change that we're looking for. So the invitation, if you've made it this far, the invitation to all of you listening is to sit with the thought of what would happen if you had a community of women, like-minded women around you, who were there to rally behind you, to support you, to lift you up when you're feeling down, to help you see the origins of the concerns you're having, and to help you through that without judgment or trying to correct you. Imagine the change that collective community can have, not only on each other, but the greater community around us and each and every person that we encounter. So food for thought in addition to our Dharma talk. I hope you are having a fabulous day. I will wish a happy Mother's Day to all women, because we all have people we take care of or animals that we take care of. So we are all mothers in our own way, as is Mother Earth beneath us. We are all part of the survival of this community, this world. If you would like quick tips that I referenced earlier, I've dropped a link to my free guide with 5 one-minute practices to incorporate yoga into your life. If you are interested in learning more about my upcoming group classes, please drop an "I'm interested" in the comments and I will be in touch. Be well. I will see you all very soon.